Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to pick up a rather controversial topic, a common mistake that most of the data scientists today make, and how you can avoid that to achieve success in this field. Let's get started. Let's understand the common practice. It all starts with the data. So most of the courses that you would have heard of or you'd ever do in future, they provide you a data. They teach you about a lot of models. So what you do is you take the data, you fit a model, and you generate outcomes. It could be predictions, it could be charts, and this pretty much qualifies you to earn a certification or a qualification in data science today. That's how the market is. So, what happens after this is when you presented a data, let's say we're trying to predict an outcome here, which is CTR or the click through rate using impressions. I'll explain these metrics in a few seconds from now. So, there's an outcome here called CTR, there's an input here, which is impressions. This is a no-brainer exercise for anybody who is even a beginner in data science. What they'll do is they'll straight away fit an equation. They'll say, we can plot a line through these points. These points are basically these data points that we have on the left. The yellow dashed line that you see here is representing the model. This is a simple linear regression model, and this is pretty accurate. Don't worry too much about if you don't know about these metrics. It's absolutely fine. This model would be decently accurate. Now, if the task was limited to just mapping the y to the x, the problem has been solved. While solving this problem, the view was limited to this kind of a process that the video gets uploaded. Let's say we're talking about YouTube. YouTube generates an impression, which means it gives you an option to watch that video. You choose to click or not to click on that video. So this is what it is. Click-through rate is nothing but a ratio of clicks divided by the impressions. But the story goes a little beyond this. As of now, you'd believe that if you have to improve the click-through rate, you can do that by reducing the impressions. See, if you reduce the denominator, the overall ratio would go up. But this would be a disastrous recommendation. Unfortunately, since you don't have visibility to anything else right now, your recommendation would be only this much. The obvious question that should arise in your mind is, where are these impressions coming from? What leads us to get these numbers? In order to understand that, we'll have to dig a little deeper. And this is where most of the so called data science practitioners today fail. They unfortunately don't dig to the next level of detailing. Let's just see what it is. This looks a little more complex process map, and trust me, I've tried to keep it simple, but still, this is what it is. So earlier, we were just looking at the left portion of this process map. It was starting with an upload, impression, click, and end. But it's when the click happens is when the view begins. During the view process, a user may or may not subscribe, right? We've given two options, may subscribe or may not subscribe. And a subscriber or non-subscriber may or may not watch the complete video, right? Now, why are we talking about this when our task was limited to something to do with the click and impressions? If you understand the YouTube way of working, YouTube would not just randomly produce results before you. YouTube would want to show you the content that you really like watching. So, what you see on the right here in this area, be it the subscribers, be it the video watch duration, and things like that, these are called the user engagement metrics. These determine whether YouTube would want to suggest your content to the users or not, right? So you were earlier looking at half the picture because half the data was given to you. In fact, there is a lot more that could be looked at, which may make your results more meaningful. In fact, even here, if you look at this carefully, the clicks also have a direct relationship with the click through rate. So if this is a ratio where I want to improve click through rate, earlier you were just looking at the impressions. Interestingly, it's not there in the data, but this is an obvious business logic based recommendation. Ask yourself, why do you click on something? Probably because the title of the video appeals to you, or probably because of the thumbnail. You're watching this video today, probably because of a similar reason. So, once again, just to summarize, the picture given to you at times may not be complete. You might have to dig a little deeper to find out how the rest of the processes influence some of the variables that have been provided to you to get the complete picture. That's where there comes a difference between an average data scientist and a good data scientist. So let's summarize the key takeaways from this video. First of all, businesses can be mapped using processes. Data comes later. Second, to solve a real problem, we first need to understand the nuances associated with the business. Anybody today can take a data and put it to a model. Most of this is getting automated. If you really want to create a differentiator for yourself, you have to do a little more than what the machines can do. And that might require you to understand the business a little better. With that, we'll end this video. Thank you for your time.